All right, the Buckeyes, they win 38-3 at home against Michigan State. Probably going to be a bit of a shorter video, not a whole lot to ramble on about. This was a blowout as expected. Honestly, no reason to keep people up for this. I know this really isn't a college football thing, but this game definitely could have been flexed to the 3:30 time slot. I don't think anybody would have complained. I know I wouldn't have. The second half of this game especially was a grind to get through, as there was only a total of 3 points scored. Ohio State basically packing it in, at least offensively, after putting up 35 in the first half. Something that was fun to watch, even though we all knew what the outcome was going to be, was the Marvin Harrison Jr. show. Basically, you can just call him Marvin the Martian because he was on a completely different planet than whatever Michigan State thought they could do for him in terms of matchup. One-on-one coverage with him is a risk for almost any team, especially with Michigan State. When you have Marvin Harrison Jr. against somebody with a number 43, you know it's going to be a good day for him on the stat sheet. If he's in one-on-one coverage and McCord doesn't underthrow him, that connection is definitely going to be dangerous. In this game, he had 149 yards on 7 receptions, 2 receiving touchdowns. He also had his first rushing touchdown of the year on just his second carry. Trey Henderson and Cade Stover accounted for the other 2 touchdowns on the day for the Buckeyes. And this is probably the best that Kyle McCord has looked in an Ohio State uniform, although it's not a surprise that it came against this just putrid, awful, bad Michigan State team. Spartans are having just the season from hell, not on the field as well as off the field, as well as going on with Mel Tucker earlier in the year. They've managed just one conference win against Nebraska. And so while there was no slow start or weird deficit at the first quarter or at halftime for Ohio State, that definitely would have been cause for panic if that did happen, because this team isn't like Rutgers or like Maryland, where those two teams could have some flashes of good play in the conference every now and then. This Michigan State team probably isn't even competing, let alone winning in the MAC. I think Toledo would probably boat race them right now if they played. So aside from seeing what kind of numbers Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyle McCord could put up together, there was never a mystery as to what this game was going to be. We did see some of Lincoln Kienholz at quarterback, since you didn't need Kyle McCord in there, and Devin Brown still dealing with injury. I'm not really sure what to make of his debut, since he was also out there with a whole bunch of backups. So while Kienholz wasn't exactly the most dynamic player that we've seen for Ohio State, he wasn't out there with the best. He was running with the scout team offense for Ohio State there. And the defense, as far as that goes, they only gave up 3 points, and those 3 points came from a 50-plus yard field goal. So, there is that desire to shut them out to match what Michigan did earlier in the year, but Ohio State and Michigan debates are going to be settled on November 25th. It's not really going to matter what each team did against Michigan State earlier in the year once that comes around. Let's just call this what it is. This was a tune-up game at home against a terrible team. This might as well have been one of the teams that you pay millions of dollars to come into to just take a beating and leave. That's what Michigan State has been this year. The only goal here is to have a dominant performance. They did that at least for the first half, and you could tell that Ohio State clearly took their foot off the gas pedal in the second half. Probably for the best, since they were playing guys that weren't exactly at 100%, like Cade Stover and Emeka Ibuka, who was also available in the week before, but he didn't even get playing time. So I feel like they're trying to ease those guys in as they rev up for that game. They have one final tune-up against Minnesota next week. I don't care how they look against Minnesota, because it's coming the week after. As long as they obviously have to get the result of a win. That's first and foremost. If you don't win against Minnesota, that is potentially that is going to completely damage the season. Even if you win the Big Ten, you'll have that loss over Minnesota hanging over your head to the football playoff committee. But yeah, obviously, so get the win there and just avoid any sort of major injury. I wince every time I see Travion Henderson get tackled with his injury history, or somebody like Ibuka or Marvin Harrison Jr. Just escape Minnesota without injury and with a W, no matter how you have to get it. I don't care if that game looks ugly, because it's all about what's coming on November 25th. But that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Again, shorter video, because this was just a boring blowout that happened at night. Helped me get in the mood to go to sleep. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and you'd like to see more like it. Once again, thank you for watching. I'll see you at the next one.